Rich Steeves, Managing Editor at TMC. I'm here at ITEXPO Las Vegas 2013. Joining me now, Jeff Dworkin, Director of Marketing at Sangoma. Jeff, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
So a lot of big news for Sangoma recently, some awards. I understand the NetBorder Link Express received the 2013 Innovation Award from TMC Labs and Internet Telephony Magazine. Talk about that award. What does that mean to you?
Well, the Link Express product is certainly a big part of what's going on at Sangoma right now. We do have a Link Express workshop happening here. We're demonstrating Link Express down at our booth. It is really an appliance that contains everything you need for a successful Link deployment, all the Link software, a VoIP gateway, and a session border controller, all in one unit, ready to go, ready to install. So someone who's installing Link doesn't have to source a machine, load a bunch of servers, pick a gateway, pick a session border controller. It all comes ready to go, one step right out of the box.
All in one package. Now you mentioned your booth here, and Sangoma is a gold sponsor at ITEXPO. You're also a premium sponsor of the Free PBX World event. Let's talk about those events. Why are those important for Sangoma to participate in?
Well, obviously ITEXPO is important. It's just a great place to meet the right kinds of customers that we're looking for. Down in our booth, we have a number of partners joining us. We have some new partners actually, and each one is a specialist in one of our particular products, and they're sharing their expertise in the booth. So we have a voice carrier down there talking about our VoIP gateways. We have Intrust IT talking about Link Express, and we have Sotel talking about our session border controllers. So you can actually talk to some hands-on guys who've installed these on behalf of our end user customers. Over at Free PBX World, we're talking about our Video MCU. That's a new product, going to be released soon. I don't have a release date, but there is a beta copy with Free PBX. They've already integrated the Video MCU, so it's a one-click install for anybody who's using Free PBX. We'll be talking about that integration at Free PBX World tomorrow, and they will be demoing the Video MCU at the Free PBX booth on the show floor.
Great, it's an exciting time. Now, you mentioned session border controllers earlier, and earlier this year, Sangoma announced a line of session border controllers both for enterprise and for service providers. Let's talk about those a little bit. Can you give us any updates on those?
Absolutely. They're going gangbusters. We have a number of large carriers, both in the US and Canada, who have either installed or are beta testing an install of those session border controllers. That's the NetBorder carrier version. We also have the enterprise line that is also selling very, very well. We're very happy with the way that's going. There's a session right now going on downstairs where we're doing a workshop on that product. There's a whole bunch of people in there learning about the session border controllers, especially ours. We present as a value reseller, and we are not trying to compete with the Cadillacs of the world in that space, but we're bringing all the essential functions to the marketplace at a really reasonable price.
So one of the big topics we've been talking a lot about at TMC here at ITEXPO as well is WebRTC. Talk a little bit about that, what you see the impact of that technology and how Sangoma fits in there.
Well, personally, I think WebRTC is going to displace SIP as the endpoint of choice. It's going to take maybe 5-7 years in the same way that SIP endpoints, or SIP in general, displaced TDM. That took about 15 years, based just on Moore's Law and the way technology works. I think it'll be about 7 years before the SIP endpoint sort of goes away. It's a WebRTC endpoint that is more like plastic wrapped around a browser, for lack of a better term. Now, Sangoma doesn't play in the endpoint space, but what we are looking at is building a gateway that will allow any WebRTC session to be ingressed onto a carrier's network. So again, right now there's some proprietariness in that connection. We're trying to help get rid of that. Again, Sangoma is all about connecting disparate networks and disparate technologies, and this is where we fit into the market. Those WebRTC endpoints and those WebRTC applications are out there, they're growing, but when a carrier wants to provide service to that endpoint, deliver the traffic, they need a gateway in their network to either bring that session back to SIP or bring that session all the way back to TDM and move it over their network.
You talked about how Sangoma fits in some of the big pictures, and obviously the marketplace is growing globally. We're in a worldwide marketplace. How is Sangoma positioned in that?
Sangoma has always been a worldwide player. We sell mostly through a two-tier distribution system with hundreds of distributors all over the country. There are many distributors and hundreds of resellers throughout the world. We sell in over 150 countries around the world. The idea is that we're going to continue to do that. Now, again, that was an open source. That was a lot about delivering our board technology to the users of Asterisk and FreeSwitch and other open source projects, but we're using that same distribution chain to roll out our gateways, our session border controllers, and Link Express around the world. So it really is an extension of what we've been doing. And of course, we are not abandoning our open source roots. We still have the very high quality portfolio of products for open source telephony, including the highest density board available for open source in our A116. That's 16 spans of digital telephony and a single expansion slot on a server. For those people who are still using servers. And we have GSM to enable you to connect your IP-PBX to the GSM network, and tapping boards that we're still bringing out. I mean, other vendors have sort of tailed off a little bit in what they're doing for that market, but we still are bringing out new products every year for the open source telephony market.
So it sounds like, as you said, Sangoma's roots are in open source. It sounds like something you're going to continue to support.
Absolutely continuing to support that, and we're even leveraging that technology in many of our other products. It's one of the reasons we can provide such value, because we understand, I mean, open source is everywhere. Linux is open source. WebRTC is open source. So there's nothing bad to be said about using open source, but we know how to leverage that. We have roots in that, and again, it's one of the reasons why we can bring the value we bring to our products, because we know when is the right time to incorporate a piece of open source and therefore not have to do the development expense ourselves. But we still stand by and support the products. Open source is not freeware. It is just simply developed in a non-proprietary way.
Absolutely. So, Jeff, a lot of exciting things going on with Sangoma. If we want to know more about the company, where can we find you online?
Online, www.sangoma.com. Very simple. Or down at our booth all week.
All right, absolutely. Jeff, thank you so much for your time.
See you soon.